How the heck is everybody doing? Gonna have to give it a little bit here and see who's all in here. We'll give it just a little bit. We're having to use the Restream software today because I'm away from my PC a little bit, but we're gonna get to. Everybody hear me all right? Audio's good. Let's see here. Daytime, nighttime. Yeah. Colin, good to see you. Oh, sorry. MT Grizz, good to see you. I think you might be the only one in here, so. Well, we're going to get to going on the pork jerky here. Something a little different for today, anyway. So first thing we're going to put in is a little bit of honey. Oh, about quarter cup, right around there. Maybe a titch more. Quarter cup to a third of a cup, let's say. Depending on how sweet you want it. Then, of course, we have to use the staple. A little soy sauce, we got the Kikkoman soy sauce. And you're going to put a fair amount into that. Now, keep in mind, not all of this liquid is going to be in your jerky, so it's all right. But we're going to use the soy sauce as a bit of a base. And then some more Worcestershire sauce, just to give it a little bit of zing in the end there. Basically, we're just making a marinade right now. All right, so far we got the soy sauce, the honey, and Worcestershire in. Yeah, Aaron, we're doing food today. Morning, sir. Terry, nice to see you. Morning. Now, I like my jerky to have a little bit of spice to it, so I put some red pepper flake in. With the honey, you get a little sweet, you get a little heat. Works out good. Then we do the old staple of garlic and onion powder. Do about teaspoon and a half of each, roughly. Now remember, guys, there's nothing precise about a marinade. Easy money, how's it going? There we go. Now, of course, the soy sauce and everything is going to help with the salt content, but we do need a little bit of salt added. Not a whole lot. Now, if you guys are planning on long-term storing this, and you want to store it outside of the freezer, AG, nice to see you this morning. If you want to store it outside of the freezer, you want to be using pink curing salt. If you guys ever wondered why, when you cook a ham, or have you noticed, I guess I should say, when you cook a ham, the Ham's always kind of a pinkish hue, but when you cook regular pork, it turns that whitish gray that we all know. Well, the reason that ham doesn't turn that whitish gray is because of the pickling, or the curing salts. And that's what helps with the long-term storage. So if you guys are planning on storing this for a long time, I'm not. Usually it gets ate up fairly quickly, so keep it in the fridge. It's all pretty good after that. Now, be careful with the liquid smoke. You can go a little too much on this, if you know what I mean. Liquid smoke is, have you guys ever looked into how it's made? It's kind of a condensed smoke that's caught in moisture. So they simmer water and burn wood smoke at the same time and catch the drips. What about lime? Lime is, I don't know. Lime's one of those things that can go both ways. I've had lime taste really well, and I've had lime that tastes like soap after making jerky with it. So it's kind of to each their own. But we're going to put not a whole lot of liquid smoke in here. About a teaspoon and a half. But you are more than welcome to change this up and put a little lime in it if you so desire. We're going to try to get that honey stirred up. We might have to put a little more soy sauce in this to help break that honey up a little bit. The kind of honey is, well, this is clove and alfalfa. It is from my local area here. We have a local beekeeper that comes through town. And we actually have some friends that he keeps the hives on their place, so they get a fair, that's their payment is honey. We're going to get that mixed up. Notice now the honey's starting to break up, so we're getting more of a liquid form to it. But you want to kind of agitate this pretty good so you don't have any chunks of garlic powder or onion powder hanging up in there. Yeah. Doesn't get much more local than this, Tim. It just comes to us in a mason jar. You'll notice that there's still pieces floating around in there, so it's not a pasteurized honey. Sawing antique yellow pine. I'll bet you that actually smelled pretty dang good. I like the old growth pine. Yeah, local honey is good for the allergies. That's why we try to keep it in the house at all times. Try to use it as much as we can. All right, so that's all kind of emulsified. The honey has had its chance to do what it's going to do and thin out a little bit. Now we're going to get into cutting the pork down. So what I'm using is center cut pork loin, flowers, I don't know what you mean, Aaron. Help me out, buddy. So now I keep the pork loin pretty frozen, so it might be interesting cutting this, but it helps keeping it thin when you keep it frozen. I mean, you can tell it's thawed on the outside a little bit, but it's still very, very stiff. If you guys get a chance, head over to Amazon. I don't know how well you can see this, but if you do any home butchering at all, this is a necessity. It's a belt kit. It basically holds your knives, holds your steel, right over here where my hand is. Your steel goes right here, and a meat hook goes right there. Really helpful. But we are going to get to slicing this up. Now, you want to keep this, depending on how you like your jerky. I like it a little thicker, so I go about 1/8 of an inch. And I don't know how well you guys can see that on camera. We'll see if we can get it a little closer here after I cut it. But about yay thick. It's pretty thin. Now, if you want chewier jerky, how's the audio, guys? Are you hearing me all right? I forgot to ask. I got a lapel mic on, so. Lady D, hello. The audio all good, guys? All right. So anyway, we're just going to keep slicing along here. Now, I'm cutting with the grain. You guys can tell on the grain there, which is going to help, not be so chewy. If you wanted to make this more of a rip-tear type jerky, you would actually turn the loin this way and slice this direction. Go with the grain of the meat. Now, you can tell there's not a lot of fat on this. I've taken all the fat off, other than what's internal. Helps with the drying process. It helps keep also. And we're just going to slice along here. Clean the cutting board up a little bit here. We're going to put it directly into our marinade so it can start the process a little earlier and give us some room on the cutting board here. So what's your guys' have you ever heard of pork jerky? Have you ever had pork jerky? Had it, never made it. Okay. Never heard of it before. Now, one thing I do when I'm starting to get close to the edge here, kind of check my cut. You can kind of, let's see here, I'll scoot it in to you a little bit. Check your cut from this side to this side, see how you're going to end up. If you're getting kind of that wedge cut, you want to start every slice, you want to angle your knife just slightly to come out to where you're square on over on this end. Otherwise, you got a wedge cut over here that you end up throwing away. Yeah, I get this pork loin at local big box store. I'm sure y'all have heard of it, Sam's Club. Cost me a little less than $2 a pound. With the price of beef right now, I figured I would show you guys an alternative to beef jerky. Something you can make at home yourself and doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. You cook it and eat it. Yeah. It's that butcher training in me that worries about what it looks like, you know. Now the tricky part. We're down to the last cut. It's really thin, so you want to be careful. There we go. All right. Give me just a second. I need to go grab a plastic bag. Actually, you know what? We're going to do this a little different. Hold on just a second. All right. Audio's good. I had to move the mic again. I peaked a little bit there. Anyway, I do like to keep these tall Tupperware containers. The lid cracked on this one, but we'll just wrap it in a little plastic wrap. It'll be all right. So we're going to put the pork down on the bottom. Take our marinade and everything here. Move these back over. Whew, that liquid smoke smells good. All right, and we're going to pour the content of this over the top. Got to get all of our goodies out of there. Kind of massage it around a little bit. Push it down. Make sure that that pork is completely covered. Now you can be a little rougher with it. Really doesn't matter. One nice part about this being so thin, it does absorb fairly quickly. You can tell the meat's already kind of changing color there. Getting all that good stuff in. All right, so we're going to press that down. Keep it to where it's pretty much all underneath. It's going to suck up a lot of this flavoring. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Now I'm going to let mine marinate for, 6 to 8 hours. Then we're going to come back. I'll have some footage for you on Friday before we do the outdoor show. And we'll show you, loading this in the smoker and then what it looks like when it comes out. So, what I'm going to do now, folks, is we're going to cut away. And then we'll be, right after I clean my hands a little bit, we'll be right back on. And we'll do a little music and answer any questions you guys have. Does that sound good? We'll see you in a little bit.